on right now. Red Sox up on the Angels 2-0 in the top of the third. Padres up on the Nationals 1-0. That one in the top of the fourth in San Diego. A couple of finals from earlier today. White Sox over the Diamondbacks 7-3. And the Pirates fall to the Brewers 4-2. Mariners get back to it today after picking up the second win of their four-game series with the Twins. They look to make it 3 in a row. They send George Kirby to the hill in this one. You can catch all the action starting at 3:30 with the pregame show. 4:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Wednesday to everybody out there. Mariners are rolling, and hopefully that roll continues. Hopefully the weather will cooperate out there in Minnesota. We'll keep you updated on that. We'll talk to Dave Krieg coming up at 3 p.m. Dave Krieg, one of the 50 greatest to ever put on a Seahawks uniform, according to all the voting that came out. He was one of the lucky 50, so we've been making our way through a lot of those guys thanks to your relationships with these people, Dave. And Dave Krieg is always a treat, always a wild card.
You know, that's one of the things I appreciate about the guys that we end up talking about. I feel like we just saw each other yesterday. You know, like once you're teammates and you go through stuff like that, there was lots of ups and downs with Dave, and yeah, it's always like you just saw him in a meeting or in the locker room or whatever. And you know, I'd say it's a fairly tame Dave Krieg.
Yeah, this was a pretty
little more
controlled version of him.
He was a little more cooperative.
Yeah. Usually, Dave, and obviously we pre-recorded this to accommodate his schedule, but often when you introduce Dave, he's already started the interview. So before we can even say joining us now is Dave Krieg, he's already talking.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not sure what it's about, but he's already in thought and expressing that thought.
Well, and I thought the whole thing was going to go south based on a couple of the text exchanges that we had. He was like, "What's the nature of this interview?" I'm like, "What?" I sent him that. I sent it back to him. I'm like, "What is the nature?" We're going to talk about football, Dave. We're going to talk about the fact that you were one of the top 50 football players for the Seahawks, and maybe talk about your teammates. What do you think?
That's the nature of it.
He sort of like settled down a little bit, and then by the time we got him on the air, he was
he was good. He was controlled.
Okay.
He was controlled, which
That's a good word.
Yeah, and it's not it's always a 50-50 proposition with Dave. So good stuff. You'll want to tune into that. That's coming up at 3 o'clock. We'll do best of the rest coming up at 2:30. Meanwhile, Mariners keep winning, yet they don't gain any ground on this damn Astros team. Astros keep winning too. So both teams are 7-3 in their last 10.
What's up with El Hombre? You know, his Phillies.
They lose 1-0,
1-0,
and they lose to former Mariner Cooper Hummel.
How about that?
Who we interviewed at spring training a couple of years ago, and this is a guy who is a self-professed Mariner maniac. He was telling us about all the Mariner paraphernalia he had in his room, a trash can and a beer stein and a this and a that, and like Mariners everything.
Yeah, he grew up in Portland area, I think. So,
and now he's playing for the Astros.
And, you know, based on that interview, we were like, hey, this guy's a good kid, man.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. People like hearing that.
Not so sure, Dave.
Can you root? Well, you can root for him individually, right?
I am rooting for him individually, and I believe Taylor Trammell has been activated by the Astros. So that really hurts. A couple of guys we got to know a bit. Taylor much more so. Got to like.
Remember Taylor Trammell was roommates with Cal and Logan.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's three really good dudes. Taylor Trammell could not be a nicer guy.
Yeah, and he's a guy who's got a ton of I mean, he's an athlete. You just wonder if he's ever going to be able to put it together at this level. Saw moments here and there, but yeah, you know, good for him. I'm glad he's getting his opportunity. Same with Cooper Hummel. I mean, he's a guy that, you know, was kind of wallowing in the minors and wasn't going to get a shot with the Mariners. So we'll see what he does at this level. I just, you know, if he could stop with the game-winning home runs, That'd be great. I need that. I need him and Taylor Trammell to just crush, yet they lose every game.
Yeah.
That would be
That'll
very
be acceptable.
satisfying.
Yeah.
Very satisfying. But so the Mariners keep winning. That's good. They're you handle what you can handle, control what you can control. Yeah. And they win again, but they do increase their lead in the wild card. They have that third wild card spot. They're up a game and a half now on the Guardians for that final wild card spot. So that was great. And then yesterday was, it was an interesting day because it was not a good day for Luis Castillo. I mean, the offense got out to a great start, gives him a 5-0 lead. He just wasn't sharp. Just wasn't his day. Wasn't good. Yet the team hung in there, and more importantly, the bullpen. Got to give this bullpen some love, man. They have been so good as of late. And yeah, there are going to be moments where guys blow up, and we've seen it, whether it's Trent Thornton or Snyder or any of the other guys that have had rough moments. But, man, they've been asked. They covered 4 innings last night, and they were spectacular, and the offense did just enough to inch ahead. Didn't take extra innings. Julio Rodriguez with a sac fly. And you know what? I will take it. I will absolutely take it.
And the right-hander's 0-2 on the way to Julio. Swinging a high fly ball deep into right field. This is going to untie it. Wallner going back to the 1 track. He's there. He'll make the catch. Tagging at third. Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. 6-5 here in the top of the 9th inning. Julio Rodriguez with a sacrifice fly. Yes, indeed. Unties it.
I was on a group text with a couple of buddies, and one of them.
Was it the Abandoned Boys?
It was not. No,
Oh.
I'm not part of that.
Not the Moyer group.
I've not been allowed in. But one of them was like somebody on Twitter. I texted like, yes, there you go, Julio. That's coming through. Oh, it's not like he ripped a double down the line or anything. I'm like, dude, it's the game-winning RBI. You put the ball in play. How many times have we as Mariner fans watched this team with the bases loaded, no outs, unable to put the ball in play, not played a single run? How often?
Right.
It feels like a million times. I know that's hyperbole, but we've seen it. Very recently we've seen it. Bases loaded, nobody out, top of the order, JP, Julio, and Cal all go up there and strike out.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I mean, yeah, I would have loved a grand slam, but you know what? They only needed 1 to take the lead, and that's what he gave them. I'm like, how are you going to be? I get being concerned or critical when your star isn't, one of your stars isn't performing. That's fair to acknowledge it. But when you start getting into style points, if you will, like, all right, yeah, it would look better a line drive down the line, or you knock it out of the park. Okay, that's cool. But you're going to complain about a sac fly in a clutch situation like that?
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, get on Twitter. That's where you belong.
yeah. Hopefully, Julio is not on Twitter because
That was on my text with buddies. He should have been on Twitter because he was like, one of the people that are unreasonable, irrational.
Yeah, but I'm sure he doesn't listen to all the hype. I mean, he got it done in a different way, and I think there's, talking about him. You mentioned this a number of times that he's beaten the ball into the ground and needs to get it. Some warning track power, and he did a little bit, but I mean he just got it done in a different way. It's he has 2 sac flies. He struck out 3 times, but yeah, they're just finding a way to piece it together, whether it's him or Donnie Barrels, and yeah, I mean getting hit by pitches. I mean that there's just a different way to get it done, and the fact that they can win that kind of a game. And, Cal goes 2 for 4, of course, and he gets up there, and I'm like, yeah, it can't possibly keep going like this. That ball was like 3 or 4 feet, maybe, from being a home run, the double that he hit off the wall. I mean, and Mike and I were talking about this, and if you're in Chicago with the wind blowing out, that's definitely going out. So, yeah, I mean, but they're getting it done different ways. So, yeah, the fact that Julio... he struck out 3 times, but he had 2 sac flies. So I mean, you'll take it.
He's a game winner.
Productive.
You're damn right. I'll take it. I don't care if it bounced off the knob of his bat and rolled through the infield because
Right.
it was the Keystone Cops out there and they couldn't feel it. I don't care. You put the ball in play. And you force the defense to make a play. I don't care if a swinging bunt, a sac fly. You won the game. You produced the moment that won the game.
Right.
The end. Don't care.
No complaining.
Sac fly is part of baseball, right? It was an odd complaint. It was an odd, and it just felt like, again, I was texting back to him going, dude, you really should, and he doesn't have a Twitter account. I'm like, you really should be on Twitter because you're irrational and moronic at times. So you'd fit right in.
Yeah. How do you respond to that? Did he take it well?
He had a laughing face.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think Julio's probably gonna catch that kind of stuff until he starts cranking home runs. But I mean, yeah, getting it done in a different way. And we talked about him and like the look on his face and everything, and just the way he's handling it. I mean, he knows. He knows that he's not hitting for power right now, and so he finds a different way, and he got it done. It's very effective. So, yeah, that was cool to see. Just good to see him have a little bit of success, and maybe this will lead to something.
Dan, after the game, just talking about the offense as a whole, putting it all together for the win.
I think oftentimes it's the little things that help you to win the big games, and tonight was a big one for us. And, I think being able to execute those things is big. And tonight, JP, he made a nice read there. He saw the guy was back. That was his decision to lay that down. A great decision, I thought, at the time, and able to kind of get that rally really started. And again, just looking for the little things, and being able to deliver there was big. I thought Cole Young had some really nice at bats tonight too, down at the bottom, and especially when you talk about their closer, Duran, he's one of the best in the game again, and being able to pick up that knock there, get Demo to third. Again, just it does take little things, and tonight these guys really dominated the little things, and it paid off.
Yeah, give Cole Young a little credit. 2 for 4 on the night. He's hitting .254 right now, so that was good to see. Ben Williamson with a hit, 1 for 3. He's hitting .255. So the rookies are, they're doing their part. They're not driving in runs or hitting it out of the park, but they're not a black hole in the lineup either. Yeah. So that's good to see. I mean, they got better averages than Rosarena does right now, and Julio for that matter, who's hitting .252. So yeah, it's good to see everybody chipping in, and a guy who has been as of late is one of your favorite players, Mr. Donnie Barrels. You just love calling him that. Any opportunity to say it, you're going to say it, but he comes through with a huge moment last night.
Here comes the 3-2 to Solano. Swung on, line drive, base hit, center field. Cal's going to score easily. Here comes Randy around third base. He's being waved. The throw is cut off. He will score. Donovan Solano, a 2 RBI base hit. The Mariners are crooked number 5 on the board. It's 5-0 M's against Minnesota. Solano continues to scorch for the Mariners.
He is scorching. I mean, 10 RBIs on this road trip, and that's what his 4th multi-hit game on the road trip. He hit 9 in Chicago, and then gets a couple last night. And you sent last night the article. I thought it was really good. Daniel Kramer did a great job. You can kind of see, if you read the article, why people love Donovan Solano. Mm-hmm. And one of them, I think Perry Hill was one of them that was kind of touting him when they first signed him. And he talked about playing this game as professionals, and we know we have to continue no matter what, and overcoming adversity. And I'm paraphrasing, but he said we have to continue like a horse, continue forward and try to battle as best we can. So yeah, I love hearing that from him. And like I said, you read this article and you're like, okay, you got to love Donnie Barrels, and that's why he's well received in the clubhouse.
Yeah, and more importantly, he's coming through. I mean, this is a guy who's red hot, right? He's as hot as anybody in this lineup. Yeah. Maybe they ought to think about moving him up. He's hitting 6th last night. I mean, get this guy as many turns as possible while he's hot. Maybe he's gonna be hot for another couple weeks, couple games. Who knows? You never know. But take advantage of it while he's hot. So yeah, he continues to roll, and that's fun to watch again for a guy who I think May 17th, or I have to go back and look at the game log. He was hitting a $132.
I just remember
132. Do
you remember when he went on a little mini streak and he got his average up to 178?
Yeah, and which wasn't hard to do because he didn't have a ton of at bats. So you get a couple hits, it drives it up substantially, or it knocks it down substantially if you go the other way. But yeah, a guy who just looked lost, looked like, all right, is this it? He's just old. This is the season it all came apart. A $132 for a big leaguer. How do you justify that? And now he's completely turned it around, and hopefully he can sustain it. And I say capitalize on it while it's there. You take advantage of this guy in this hot streak. Meanwhile, we've talked a lot about Cal and his push for the MVP, And he's starting to get some national love. The national voices out there talking about it. Dan Plesac and our guy Greg Amsinger on MLB Network making the case as to why Cal should be an MVP.
Right now, I would vote for Cal Raleigh, and I would vote convincingly. What he's doing with the position that he's playing, we've never seen before.
And so many people are lazy about how they look at the MVP. It's like, oh,
look at the OPS.
Judge's OPS and his weighted runs created plus. And stop with all of that. Look, I'll give you, how about this stat? Take this year out of it. Previous 5 years, the ballpark that Cal Raleigh calls home is hard to hit home runs in. Aaron Judge plays in one of the best ballparks to hit home runs in. We are not throwing shade at Aaron Judge. We all love Aaron Judge. He's one of the faces of the game. It's not the face of baseball. But Cal Raleigh, who wears a mask because he's a catcher and he squats and he has to wear a cup every single day, that's not easy living, bro. That's not. So I'm sorry. Cal Raleigh is, if he's not the front runner, he is neck and neck right now with Aaron Judge.
He has to squat and wear a cup. I mean, what else do you want the guy to do?
Well, it was funny, but it was also very descriptive because he does, I mean, it's a grind for him. But, yeah, I was looking at some of the numbers like this point last year after 77 games. He had 30 walks, and now he's got 46 at this point. And so he's doing pretty much everything. And so, and then you look at like the other thing. I know we'll probably get to the clip, but you know, I think people are starting this narrative of, okay, he's managing the rotation. He's having to, you know, wear a cup and do all. I mean, you get beat up basically. You see their catcher last night take that one off the inner thigh, and you're just like, oh my God. That just stinks. So, I mean, you're grinding out that. Plus, you know, they talked a little bit about the ballpark. But, yeah, I mean, I think that people are starting to really appreciate that, you know, much more than, you know, Aaron Judge. I mean, obviously he's a good outfielder. But, you know, what Cal's doing is just so much more. And I feel like that might, you know, overcome some of the things like the big media market and the fact that he's with the Yankees.
Well, Buster only talking about it, and he was comparing Cal to what Ohtani did when he won the award.
Much in the same way that I think that, you know, Shohei Ohtani got extra consideration because he was a two-way player, because of the importance of, okay, this was his impact as a pitcher, and here his impact as a hitter. In the same way, you know, not only is Cal, you know, doing what he's doing offensively, putting up these crazy numbers, you know, we're wondering if he's going to finish the year with 55 or 60 home runs. But he also is considered, as you well know, one of the elite defensive catchers in baseball, someone who, you know, is the backbone of what they're doing with their pitching staff. So it absolutely is a factor.
So he went on to talk about what I brought up yesterday, and that you got premium positions on the field. You got your catcher, your shortstop, your center fielder. Those are premium positions.
Right.
And Buster only talked about shortstops get an extra boost in MVP voting, and a catcher should as well.
As I said a month ago, I thought the MVP race was over. I mean, Aaron Judge is arguably the greatest right-handed hitter that we've ever seen. He's putting up unbelievable numbers, but the fact that Cal Raleigh is doing it as a catcher, it is going to give him an extra consideration, just as you know, shortstops historically have had that benefit of the doubt when it comes to MVP voting, just as Shohei Ohtani has as a two-way player.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and those are some of the things that we've talked about, that you know, he should get extra consideration. I don't know if we have time to get to it. You want to do the Harold Reynolds clip or not, but yeah, he's talking about the same thing. I mean, those things should be factored in, and that was kind of, we've been talking about that for probably a week, about, you know, maybe that narrative and everybody being aware of everything that Cal does, other than, like they said, OPS and, you know, home runs. I mean, it's there's so much more that he does, and so you just look at how valuable he is to this team.
As you mentioned, Harold Reynolds from MLB Network talking about Cal and the position he plays should factor into the voting.
Yesterday, I gave a statistic. 8,483 pitches he caught going into last night, averaging 145 pitches a game. He's standing there like this, and he's calling signs, and he's actually in a squat. He'll go to a knee every now and then, but he's in a squat.
A lot of credit being given to the squad. It should. I mean, it's just a demanding position. It just is. Talking about seeing the other catcher. He's not unique in the beating he takes. That's every catcher who's a full-time catcher. They all take that beating, and that's why what he's doing is so, even more spectacular because you're so conditioned as a baseball fan to see catchers, just not be big producers generally. A lot of them have pop, but they don't hit for average. They're not getting on base a ton. They're usually toward the bottom of your lineup. They're more about their priority is the game, is the defense, is calling the game and getting that pitcher through the game. And you really know the outliers throughout history, right? If you want to go back to Johnny Bench or Roy Campanella, or you want to talk about Mike Piazza or Jorge Posada or Pudge Rodriguez, their names because they stand out in a very big way at a position where they don't generally do that.
Yeah.
Where they're great offensively and great defensively. And not all those guys. Mike Piazza was not a great defensive catcher. Great offensive catcher. Mm-hmm. But it just you're seeing something really unique with Cal right now. All right, let's take two.
Well, the Seahawks are reuniting with Shaquille Griffin. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports it's a 1-year, $3 million contract. Could get up to $4 million.
Yeah, I talked about that in the snapshot there. He's expected to compete for that third spot, according to the story, with Josh Jobe behind Spoon and Reek Woolen. So
you got Nehemiah Pritchett there. And so, yeah, I remember Mike McDonald talking about, the 3, 4, and 5 spot. There's going to be a battle there, and it just got a lot more competitive. Because now you got a guy who is a seasoned veteran.
I wonder where he's at physically, because in reading the story about him, it talks about all the time he's missed. He had a bad back and missed a bunch of games. So obviously the Seahawks are somebody they're very diligent about medicals, right. So they must have a level of confidence that he's going to be available and ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know what every other team goes through, but I just know that the Seahawks are particularly, they're sticklers for the health thing. So I think rest assured there, but we don't know if he's going to last or not. I know he's been in the league now 8 years, so but we know also great team guy, because that's what McDonald preaches out there with the defense, that help the guy next to you and don't worry about your own individual stats.
Well, if we're still scoreboard watching, potential trade deadline candidates. So the Diamondbacks lost 7-3 to the White Sox, so they fell to 41-39 on the season. And some good news for the actual coveted trade piece. Josh Naylor back in the lineup, went 2 for 3, had a 2-run homer, and drew a walk.
Well, I guess that shoulder wasn't hurting that bad.
Yeah, maybe just a tweak.
Yeah.
Gino Suarez was not in the lineup, so there's that. He got plunked, remember.
All things being equal, who do you want of those two guys, Josh Naylor and Gino Suarez?
Gino, because he gives you both. He doesn't hit for the average. There's a ton more swing and miss, obviously, compared to Josh Naylor, but he gives you much more in the way of production, and he's a tremendous third baseman. So
he has a really good throwing arm.
He does.
As Mike Flowers used to say.
He's got a cannon.
Yeah.
Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Coming up, did one move really change the momentum for the Mariners offense? We'll talk about that in Best of the Rest. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com.
Muckleshoot. Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailalarm.com today.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Riverside Roofing has earned GAF Master Elite President's Club certification, which puts them in the 99.9th percentile of all roofers nationally. They're right here out of Marysville. You can find them at riversideroofingllc.com, and they are the roofing company you can trust.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with 0 investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes. But when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Progressive has great customer service, and it's easy to reach us because great and easy is the way to be. Like salads. Great for you, and so easy you can put any group of veggies in a bowl and it's a salad. A full carrot with a head of cabbage? Weird, but still a salad. 1 radish and a couple of green beans? Also a salad. 14 blueberries, half an onion, and a sunchoke? Odd, yes, but an odd salad. So contact Progressive's customer service by phone, app, or online. It's great and easy, just like salad. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
We know you love listening to us, but there are great discussions happening all over our station.
I need more Jake Bobo. I need more of them.
Because Jake Bobo is objectively fun to say.
Yep, just not good at bats.
Let's tone it down.
It's time for the best of the rest.
How dare you?
It is Best of the Rest. We take a listen to some of the conversations happening around the station and weigh in with our opinion on them. Start with, this was Bump and Stacy, or I guess actually Stacy and Curtis, who Bump was out. So they were talking about whether, as it relates to the Seahawks and Sam Darnold, whether there's been too much stock put into Darnold's final 2 games of last season. And you and I have talked about that a bunch. We talked about it long before he was ever here. Just marveling at the season he was having, and then the unfortunate part, it was the 2 most consequential games of their season. But here they are discussing that.
Would Darnold still be in Minnesota if those 2 games had gone differently? I think so. I think Minnesota would have made just about every effort to keep him around, at least for 1 more year. They'd probably franchise tag him, which would have come out to what? Close to like $50 million. It's not like the Vikings have been, hesitant to give quarterbacks the franchise tag. I've looked at Sam Darnold's last 2 games of the season, and yes, that you want to be playing your best ball then, but I don't know if you can completely throw out what he did in basically the entire season prior to it.
I think 2 things are true. I think that those 2 games rightfully carry a lot of weight. And yeah, if they were to happen in weeks 1 and 2, and then Sam Darnold looked great, of course we'd be talking about a different thing. The reason that these 2 games carried a lot of weight is because you didn't see a Sam Darnold that got hurt and then was kind of hobbling through a game and kind of put up a fight, but it wasn't enough. You saw the I'm seeing ghosts out there Sam Darnold. Yeah. Like, you saw the version of Sam Darnold that was very on brand for his worst version. And every quarterback, most quarterbacks, I should say, like, I don't know how many versions of this Patrick Mahomes has, but the vast majority of quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks who were considered at one point busts or failed prospects at one point, have that kind of worst version of themselves.
Sure.
So that's what it was with Sam Darnold.
And you look at those games, I mean, the last game he had before the final 2 was against the Green Bay Packers, and they won 27-25. In that game, he goes 33 of 43, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And then the final game, one that had playoff seeding on the line, they went out there and just got destroyed by Detroit, 31-9. He completed 43.9% of his passes, 18 of 41 for 166 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. And then the wild card playoff game against the Rams, 25 of 40, 245 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Sacked 9 times.
Yeah, and I would say he took 9 sacks.
9 times in that game. He got sacked 2 times in the previous game against Detroit. That wasn't a great one. But So his final 2 games of the season, he got sacked 11 times.
Well, and also you look at those 9 and, like I said, I mean, it's one thing to get sacked, but it's another to take sacks, and he just didn't get rid of the ball. He had a pretty crappy game against the Jets in week 5, where he was 45% completion percentage. They end up winning the game, and so that cures everything, right? But he threw for 179 yards and no touchdowns and 1 interception. So it's kind of I would say he's a little on the streaky side, and it just the timing of that. I don't know if those teams figured out something. Over the period of time watching him play, and maybe they solved some kind of a puzzle. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing, that's the one factor that I go, is he going to get flustered? Is there a way? Is there some kind of a button to push with Sam Darnold that a few teams have figured out?
Yeah, and you point out that Jets game. If you look a little further, he had back-to-back games where. Against the Colts, they won both of these games. He goes 28 of 34, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Okay, you don't love the picks, but decent game. The very next game, they play Jacksonville. They win 12-7. He goes 24 of 38, no touchdowns, 3 picks.
Yeah, and
they won. But in 2 games back to back, he threw 5 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. So that was. It wasn't just the last 2 games. That's not a good stretch right there.
Yeah, well, and then he comes back with games like Atlanta, for 22 for 28, 350 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So he's just very, very up and down. And, and I do think that it's going to be – I think it's an interesting question about what Curtis brought up there is, what if those two games go differently? J.J. McCarthy, for whatever reason – they really, really like him.
Yeah.
And I think the rest of the NFL does as well. So, maybe either way, they're going to let J.J. McCarthy have a shot there. But that's one of the other things is that, why didn't Minnesota bring him back? I know part of it's the J.J. McCarthy thing, but, the Sam Darnold, the streaky one, that one, I think it's a little bit of a concern. I still like the deal. I still think it's a good deal that the Seahawks signed him, particularly because, Geno didn't want to be here.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't work out, it's not like they've got this anchor around their neck and we're in salary cap hell for the next 5 years and we owe this guy all this money. They can get out after the first year of the deal. And it's at a very reasonable rate. So, yeah, and throw on top your starter from the previous year made it clear he didn't want to be here. It wasn't that you didn't want to pay him. You made an offer to start negotiations. There were no negotiations. The counteroffer was, we'd like to play elsewhere. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they did the best with what was available, and hopefully they get the version of Sam that that the Minnesota fans enjoyed for the majority of the season. Did have a couple of clunkers in there, but we'll see what he does. Meanwhile, Brock and Salk were talking about, the Mariners and, they DFA'd Rowdy Tellez, and they were sort of wondering, is that a message to the clubhouse?
Whether or not the Tellez being DFA'd would have had much of an effect on some of the guys that had really good weekends. Canzone, Garver, even Solano. Do you really think that those two things, how seriously do you think those two things are related?
So I don't think it was an enormous impact, but I also know these are human beings.
Mm-hmm.
That Mitch Garver is a human being, that Dom Canzone's a human being, and that when somebody is DFA'd and let go, and somebody they really enjoyed, like as a human, you really enjoy that coworker. But the production and the consistency of it just isn't there, and we got to let them go. To pretend that they're just total robots and that has no impact and effect, I don't think that's realistic either.
Yeah, I would be willing to bet that at least for those three guys you mentioned, Garver, Solano, and Canzone, if there was any effect from Rowdy Tellez being DFA'd on Friday, it had nothing to do with competition or a message sent or anything like that. Knowing baseball, and you heard Angie say it as well, you can't, effort does not equal success in this game. It just doesn't work that way. I wonder if anything, it freed them up of hey, this has been looming. We know Luke Raley's coming back. He's going to be here sooner rather than later. Someone is going to be either cut or sent down. It might be Canzone. You look at the roster, there's really only 3 or 4 options. If anything, maybe it freed them up. All right, there's no more roster moves to make right now. There's nobody else likely to come up. I can just relax and go do my thing.
Yeah, that might have been more the point than sending a message to the clubhouse on any level. And I don't think anybody was like, oh, boy, I avoided it there. I better really start playing hard now. That's, the way it was worded, the title of it made it sound like, did the Mariners send a message to the clubhouse? No, I don't think that was the intent. It was very obvious. Luke Raley is coming back. We've got to make a roster move, and here are the players that make sense. Mitch Garver is not part of that conversation, not because he's been so great, because of the amount of money he makes, and he's your backup catcher. I mean, that's it. I guess they if they wanted to eat that salary, they could call up Harry Ford, and if they don't, but I don't know if they think he's ready to hit at this level or not. If they want to risk, who knows? Maybe he's a trade piece for the deadline, and they don't want to risk bringing him up and having him struggle, and all of a sudden he doesn't look as tantalizing to another team. Yeah. I mean, so there's a lot of reasons not to bring him up, and I never looked at Mitch Garver as being in danger when Luke Raley came back.
Yeah. Well, they kind of, based on what's going on. I mean, we were talking about this last, what was it, Thursday or Friday, about and I think it was overwhelmingly Solano's the one that needs to go, and and really it's worked out really well for him, and they saw something. So I don't know. A lot of times I feel like Dan and Jerry and Justin maybe don't get enough credit, but they saw something. Anyway, in the meantime, I mean, I know it's a short sample size right now, but it appears right now that was, and I don't know, I think Rowdy Tellez was probably the one that I was most sure that they were gonna keep.
Yeah, because he was cheap in baseball dollars. He's played a nice first base for the most part, and he was your second leading home run, or tied for second in home run. So he was, not hitting for great average on base, but he was productive in key moments. But that's the move they made. Hey, tomorrow is your last chance to vote for the 2025 All-Star Game. You got Cal, JP, Julio. The crew needs your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote 5 times per day, today through tomorrow, at MLB.com/vote. You can also vote via our Seattle Sports app. Just click the Vote tab in the lower right-hand corner, and you can do it from there. Meanwhile, the Mariners accomplished something that they hadn't done in nearly 2 years. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
It's all about finding a way to get her done.
Tagging at third, Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. Julio Rodriguez.
After they allowed the other team to come back, they didn't panic, found a way to get it done late.
Today, the M sent George Kirby to the mound, eyeing a 4th straight win. Mariners, Twins. First pitch today at 4:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 3:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Well, the sun is shining. It's warm outside. That is motorcycle weather for me. And I know a lot of my fellow riders listening out there, same thing is true for you. It's just the best time of year, but we assume a different level of risk out there on the motorcycle. And often we end up putting that bike down. To this point, I have not. But it's not a matter of if, but when, as I keep hearing from my more experienced riding friends. And when that happens, if you happen to be injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who actually live it. That's Law Tigers. They've been a part of this riding community for nearly 25 years, and they've done it nationwide. They're there 24/7, 365 days a year, because riders deserve real support when they need it. Now, Law Tigers is the resource riders can turn to when they are in need. They're out at all of the events. You see the tents, you see the vans. They're everywhere supporting all clubs, all shops, and the Law Tigers are always by your side. And most importantly, they don't get paid until you get paid. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you're never riding alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming, at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming.
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
If you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her, Shannon Dreyer here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help in finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of the 380 people who consider Lee Johnson their home.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car theft dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here, and the opening day for the hotel is August 8th. Book now for an unforgettable summer experience. Go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
An Aussie trekker travels to America to hike an epic trail.
It was rocky, it was imposing.
But Eric Robinson never made it to the end. I'm Dave Cawley. Follow my podcast, Uinta Triangle, UINTA, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up at 3 o'clock, our conversation with former Seahawks quarterback Dave Krieg, one of the 50 greatest to ever wear a Seahawks uniform. They've compiled their 50 this list this year, and they'll have a ceremony. Where's the ceremony in Tampa?
Well,
or here,
the Tampa
when Tampa comes to town.
Game
right?
is here, yeah.
What is that, October?
Yeah, I want to say it's like the 2nd or 3rd home game. Yeah. I think when we went through our schedule, I had them losing to Tampa. Because I'm like, okay, they got to lose a home game.
Well, they can't lose on that night.
I know.
Celebrating the 50 years of history.
Maybe we can get Dave Krieg out there.
Yeah, get him. He's got a pass or two in that arm of his.
Yeah, he will beat a defensive end to death with his body.
He'll fool him, too. He'll trick him at the line of scrimmage. You got to watch him. He's wily.
He's very cagey.
He's wily. But, yeah, that conversation coming up at 3 o'clock, always highly recommend tuning in when Dave Krieg is speaking. He was pretty subdued, comparatively speaking, but he's an interesting guy. Meanwhile, we saw something we hadn't seen in 2 years from this Mariner team last night.
Brash looking for the final out in this one. The 1-2 on the way to Bader. Swinging a ground ball cued right back to the mound. Knocking it down is Brash. Underhand flip to Solano at first, and the ball game is over. The Mariners win it 6-5. Over the Twins here in Minnesota. They take the opening 2 games of this 4-game series. Matt Brash outstanding to pick up his first save in a long, long time.
Well, first save since 2023.
Yeah.
How about that? Because they had Vargas come in the 8th in a crucial spot in their lineup. And he did his work. He looked good. He hadn't pitched in a while.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since he'd been out there, so it was good to see him. But Brash picks up his first save since 2023. Mariners win against Spire. Vargas, got to give him credit. He's done a nice job. Everybody's kind of had their moments where it's like, oh, this is not a good day. but they've been solid lately. And they again, covering 4 innings last night. Not a great night for Luis Castillo. They come in, they hold the team down, cover 4 innings. They allow 1 hit, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, no runs between Spire, Vargas, Munoz, and Brash. They were spectacular.
No, it's so good to know that you can have those guys, and then Brash, having him, get the save there. I just think him and Munoz are so dynamic, and if you can keep those 2 guys healthy, I love that combination. I think my favorite game was, pitching wise, was the one where Kirby goes 7 innings and had 14 strikeouts, and then you bring in Brash, then you bring in Munoz, and it's just like that. It just feels unbeatable. Those 2 guys. So yeah, they've done such a great job. Finding a guy like Vargy, our guy Vargy. He's been really good.
He's done a nice job, and there he goes a little longer than they have some of the other guys, and Dan credits him and the bullpen for how they performed.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing. He had a great fastball. His stuff had a little bit extra tonight. I thought his slider was actually very, very good, very sharp as well. So, but in those big situations, those guys really turn it on. And Mooney came in after not throwing for a while, and was very sharp, as well as Brash, who hadn't thrown in a few days too. So, both those guys, again, being able to slam the door after not pitching in a few days. Was huge for us tonight.
Yeah, Munoz and Brash, they go an inning apiece, 2 strikeouts for Munoz, 1 for Brash, neither with a hit or a walk given up. Vargas goes an inning and a third, no hits, had 1 walk, and then Spire goes 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit. But, I mean, between the 4 of them, and they covered those 4 innings, you give up 1 hit and 1 walk, and you strike out 3, no runs. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's been like you feel like they're sort of on the repair a little bit. You look, they're about middle of the pack as far as average goes, but and hopefully the rotation starts to get more back to what it was last year, and those guys are going deeper, and so you're not having to rely, like I mentioned, the Kirby outing, just perfect, right? That's exactly what you want, but. Yeah, I mean, they've just always found a way to find good players and really mostly develop them, But Trent Thornton, who went down the other day. I mean, he had the heat problem, and he looked like he had to be helped off the mound and everything. I mean, I'm looking for him to kind of bounce back. I like that kid. He's very intense, and
he is that.
Yeah. So yeah, you got a bunch of different personalities out there, but I feel like they all kind of work together.
Yeah, overall have done a nice job. Again, they've sort of, just like the rotation. I mean, look, Castillo for the season has been solid. Wasn't a good day yesterday. It happens. We've seen it with each one of these starters out there. Even with Wu, who's gone 6 innings in every start, at least 6 innings in every start. He's had a couple where he got lit up. So, everybody's going to have that moment, whether you're a starter or you're a bullpen guy. And, I mean, Brash hasn't to this point of the season, but there's going to be a day where he's not effective. Maybe he doesn't have his command. I mean, it's part of the deal. But overall, they've done a nice job bouncing back when things have gone the wrong way with certain guys, and it's great. I'm glad they got Munoz some work, because I was like, okay, how long can you go without getting this guy into a game?
Yeah,
I mean, we started the year where the concern was he's out there too much. Much like their offense, it's been a tale of extremes, right? He's out there, it felt like every other night he's out there, and then all of a sudden he's not there, and it's been a week, and he isn't. I know he throws on the side, and he's not just sitting still, but you want to see him in game action and see him facing guys who are out there trying to win a game, and he looked sharp. His stuff looked really sharp last night. So good stuff from the bullpen, and a nice win overall. And we'll see if they're able to get the game in today and win the series. They could win the series today. Meanwhile, it's always entertaining when this guy joins us. We're going to talk with one of the 50 greatest to ever wear a Seahawks uniform, Mudbone. Dave Krieg is going to join us next with Wyman and Bob. It is Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior baseball insider Buster Olney on Brock and Salk.
What do you make of this Mariners team in general?
There are just so many teams in the middle, and they're almost to the point that it makes it hard to define them all. I think the Mariners actually have one of the better chances to break out of that pack because of their potential ceiling for their pitching. Once they get that in order, their centerpiece star is having the greatest season that we've ever seen from a catcher in the history of baseball.
Hear the full interview on the Seattle Sports app and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming, at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming.
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Oh my God, is this your house?
This is the humble abode.
Oh my God, it's so humble.
FX presents Adults.
You don't know your social security number?
No, I do. It's just my mom, knows the whole thing. A new comedy about 20-somethings achieving zero anythings.
What is the worst that happens?
I go broke. I can't pay my loans. I start an OnlyFans, but only you guys subscribe.
Can't do OnlyFans.
Yeah, you wouldn't make it on there, so sorry.
FX's Adults. Wednesdays on FX. All episodes streaming on Hulu.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck. And she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes. But when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu, certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck. And she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes. But when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners getting set for Game 3 of their 4-game series with the Minnesota Twins. Weather permitting, they'll send George Kirby out to the hill in Game 3. You'll catch all the action starting at 3:30 with the pregame show. Again, weather permitting, 4:40 first pitch. Meanwhile, other games going on right now. The Red Sox trailing the Angels 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning in Anaheim. The Padres out to a 1-0 lead over the Nationals. That game at the top of the 8th. In San Diego, a couple of finals from earlier today. The White Sox take out the Diamondbacks 7-3, and the Brewers over the Pirates 4-2. Meanwhile, in the world of college sports, Texas state officials have informed the Sun Belt Conference that they are expecting an offer from the Pac-12 in the near future. The talks between Texas State and the Pac-12 have intensified over the last 24 hours, according to sources, although a formal offer from the Pac-12 to Texas State has yet to be delivered. It is anticipated in the near future as Texas State is in talks to join the league for the 2026-27 school year.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, Dave, we've had an awesome time kind of going through the Seahawks top 50 of all time, getting a chance to talk to a number of these guys, some of which have been your teammate. But there was one guy, Dave, that I said, you cannot put him on while I'm out last week. I was on vacation. I said, you cannot bring this guy on until I get back because I get such a kick out of him. And he is with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. You know him, you love him, the legend that is Dave Krieg. Dave, how are you, man?
I'm doing fine, Bob. How you doing?
Doing great. And first, let's just say congratulations. One of the 50 greatest to ever put on that Seahawks jersey, that Seahawks uniform. Give us a sense of what that's like.
It's quite an honor. You're sitting back here. You think back to where you started off in high school and little college and went to. First time you fly in a plane, then you're making in the Ring of Honor. And now you're one of the top 50 players that played in the last 50 years. Quite a deal.
Hey, Dave, thanks for letting us introduce you and everything and not just start talking this time. I really appreciate that. It's very professional of you.
Oh, I don't do this as often as you do, Dave. I haven't been interviewed in like years now, so.
Since the last time we interviewed him.
Yeah. That's probably the last time I talked to somebody on the phone like this.
Well, Dave, tell us about that. You went to Milton College. And then you said, I think when you got drafted or where they signed you and brought you out to Seattle, that was the first time that you ever flew on a plane?
Yeah. Do you think everybody that plays in the NFL is drafted like you were, like a second rounder? Not everybody went to Stanford and played linebacker there and was drafted in the second round. I was a free agent. I wasn't drafted, Dave. And
well,
the first time
I am proud that I still have an alma mater. I mean, like I thought,
well, Again, it makes it even more just unbelievable that a guy could make it into the top 50 that doesn't even have an alma mater. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
I mean, if you look at it from that standpoint. Anyway, Tony White just called me. I did a little thing with him, and he said, "Is it true that you didn't fly in a plane?" I said, "Yeah, my dad dropped me off at the Central Wisconsin Airport, a little plane, to the Minneapolis Airport. Then I went to Seattle, and then we were practicing on that beautiful, just immaculate fields, nice white stripes on them, coming from Milton after about, you know how that is, Dave, after about 4 or 5 weeks, it's just a dirt strip down the middle, and you practice on it,
Yeah.
And so when you go to Seattle, we're on the shores of Lake Washington. It was just beautiful, and that's what I remember. And staying at the Bellevue Holiday Inn, I thought that was amazing because we didn't really stay at hotels at Milton. We bussed all our games.
Well, and so 19 years you played in this league, Dave. And I don't know, was there ever a point prior to that were there years towards the end where you're like, all right, this is it. This is the final year.
No. I would have kept playing. I wanted to get at least 20. And Jeff Fisher kept me at Tennessee for a couple of years. Steve McNair was a pretty tough guy. He didn't get hurt too much. But I wanted to get I could have kept playing. I love practicing. I love playing. I mean, that's all I did was play sports growing up. And I could have kept playing for as long as somebody would have kept me. That's what I would have done.
Well, Dave, did you ever think about either doing? I know you did broadcast some games, and actually on TV as well. And, yeah. So, I mean, did you want to stay around the game, or at what point were you like? Because I don't know about you, I never wanted to coach just because I saw what those guys went through.
Yeah.
But
it's tough.
What about for you?
Coaching, I would not have been an option. I mean, once you're playing for that many years, that's probably the last thing you want to do is go out there and stand out there some more for another 20 years. So I just didn't feel like I had that in me. And, when I retired, I did NFL Europe a couple times. I went over there 2 different years. I thought that was pretty cool. And I would have got into the broadcasting thing, but then the kids were at an age where I felt like I had to be around them more. So I just decided to go that route and just, stay home and spend as much time as I could with the kids.
Dave, when people ask you about your career and, did you play this guy and what was this like, what was that like, is there one moment that stands out to you, whether it's one season, one game, one play that your mind always goes to when you reflect on your career?
Oh, man. For as a team thing, winning the first playoff game and then going to Miami, that was pretty cool. But I think, I have a unique perspective of being a quarterback is if you're good, you have to have a lot of good people around you. You have to have good receivers. You have to have good running backs. You have to have good linemen. Then you have to have a good defense. So your performance is predicated on how everybody else does. Yes, you can elevate their level of play like a Joe Montana can and a John Elway and a Marino and guys like that. But the thing that stands out to me is just the selflessness of offensive linemen. Tell them a play, they're going to go up there and block, and they're never going to touch the ball all game, probably all season, And to me, it's just the selflessness of it. And then what doesn't get a lot of credit in 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, Dave, when did you show up, Dave? 88? Or was it
87.
earlier? 87, right. And we had good defenses, and Dave will say this too, like guys that made it, Keith Butler, some of the older guys that were first there taught him a lot of lessons, but our defense with Ken Easley and John Harris and Dave Brown and, Kerry Justin and Shelton Robinsons and Vic Miners, we wouldn't be here without guys like that. So that's what I think about. It's more of a team thing for me, even though the quarterback gets a lot of credit, but you couldn't get any credit if you didn't have a defense and offense. Norm Johnson kicking field goals, special teams, Freddie Young and all those guys, Rufus, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and Dave, I thought they did a great job. I don't know how much you've looked at the list, but I thought they did a really good job of, including each era, because maybe a lot of people don't know who Keith Butler is. And Butts absolutely deserved to be there. And then, like Brian Millard and Edwin Bailey. And, I thought that list really kind of – because, for a lot of young people that are voting or whatever, they may not know who, Brian Millard is.
They would have no idea. And to see it on film or watch it on YouTube, it doesn't even do justice the way it is. But, it brings up another guys like Ron Mattis, Robert Pratt, you had Blair Bush. You remember all those guys.
Sure.
I'm glad they got some guys from the, 76 era on to the 80 era, Jake Boogie and Joe Nash, another free agent. I'm so glad Joe made it. I still think he should be in the Ring of Honor, but Joe Nash has played the most downs. I still believe more downs or more snaps than any Seahawks ever. I may be wrong, but I'm going to stand on that one.
Hey, Dave, what was it like? I mean, you spent your first 12 seasons with the Seahawks, and then you went on to Kansas City and Detroit, Arizona, Chicago, Tennessee. And in those years, I would imagine you faced a lot of former teammates. And Dave Wyman always talks about a moment where you tried to shift at the line. You kind of wink like, I almost got you, and winking at him, whatever. But what was that like going up against guys that you came up with?
It was different. You ended up just playing the game. It's like playing pickup basketball. You play against this guy and that guy, and you don't really think about who's behind it, although you know them by name. I know when I first went to Kansas City, I knew Joe and Dave and the defensive guys, and then we kept playing. Dave went to Denver, and I played at Arizona, and we played each other there. But you just play the game. He did like to goof around a little bit, but I was thinking too. I had too much to think about. I didn't have time for that. It was funny, and I'll tell you another thing. There's one thing that really stands out to me, and now that I think about it, is Derek sacked me that 7.5 times. I think it was in 1990. And people talk about, they go, Derek Thomas sacked you 7.5 times. I'm like, yeah. And then Dan Salamua and Neil Smith and Dino Hackett sacked me about 4 or 5 more times. It was like more than just 7. But I got to go to Kansas City, and then we went up to River Falls, which is in the University of Wisconsin River Falls, for training camp. And then there's Derek and I playing golf, and Salamua and Joe Montana and Marcus Allen. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We're in Wisconsin. I got Marcus Allen, Neil Smith, Derek Thompson. It was just so cool. We were like friends. It's like everybody respects who you are, but you got to go out there and do a job. And it was cool to make friends with a guy that, him and I both were players of the week for that game. Can you imagine? But the guy on the other team was the defensive player of the week. And because we won the game, I was the offensive player of the week. I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
Yeah. The other thing, Dave, I think the touchdown you threw to Scansy, first of all, we hadn't won there in a decade, right?
Oh my God. If our defense didn't stop them on 3 plays, 3 timeouts, and then we did that drill where, like on Saturday, okay, let's throw this there, throw it there, and we're going to end zone and score. And every time on Saturday it works. And this time it worked during a game. It was the most coolest thing. But if you guys didn't stop them, Dave, we'd have never got that opportunity.
Yeah, well, I think you ducked a sack on the play that you threw to Scansy, and that was one of the most memorable games for me because, that place just went dead quiet when you did that.
It was so quiet. Yep, I was on the ground. Neil hit me after Derek had my left hip, and I did a little swing thing. I don't know what it was. I really think he was just exhausted from tackling me all day, and he was worn out. But I whipped him, and then I thought, if I can throw it fast enough and hard enough, and Jim Scans jumped in the air and caught it, and you're right, Dave, it was the most quietest, and we were the happiest guys. We were the only happy people in that whole place, and then Norm had to still kick the extra point to win. But that was one of the coolest. Remember we went to the airport, and Chuck said, guys were sitting out the bar, Reggie, of course, and then we had the whole team was sitting out there, and then Chuck took care of it. That was a great trip, That was just awesome. That was cool. I know you didn't. Sorry, Dave. Excuse me, but I just want to interrupt for this reason. That good feeling we had there in Kansas City. I know I want to say this, but the other cool feeling we had was, yes, we won that first playoff game against Denver, but now we fly all the way from Seattle down to Miami. The plane leaves late because of some black box thing. We get there at 4 or 5 in the morning. Practice Saturday. We go out there, play Sunday. We win. As good as we felt at Kansas City, Dave, that Miami victory was unbelievable. Old Elmer Nordstrom, the original owner, was in the locker room. Dave Brown, God bless Dave Brown. He's the consummate pro. He stood up, gave a game ball. He goes, I haven't had one of these in a while, but he gave it to Chuck Knox for winning the game, and Elmer Nordstrom was in there, and Kitty, his wife, was around. That was so cool. That was the coolest time.
Yeah, and then you guys go to L.A., right? And that's the AFC
yeah. I don't really want to
game.
talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. That game, I couldn't have played a worse game. I think I threw just as many interceptions as it was just the worst game at the worst time. It's funny how that works, but that one bugs me more than anything.
Okay, well, I guess we won't talk about
let's not talk about that because it'll get bad quick.
We'll just talk about the bright spots, Dave. We're speaking with Dave Krieg, one of the 50 greatest Seahawks ever, is joining us here with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. And Dave, I always tell Dave Wyman, one of my first experiences in this business was standing on the sidelines when the Seahawks were playing the Miami Dolphins in the Kingdome. And I was just walking around carrying batteries for James Lofton's battery pack for his headset. But I remember standing there when Dan Marino came walking off the field, and he was screaming at his O-line, and his face was beet red. Were you ever that guy in a game where you're getting sacked left and right 7.5 times by Derek Thomas? Did you ever light up your... No. Sometimes you would, but it just didn't make any sense to me that I'm going to yell for these guys that are working their butts off for me. But sometimes in the huddle,
I would say things if guys were starting to get snipey, a little bit. I can imagine if Dave Wyman was in the huddle, we'd have to call timeout. Well, I think we should do this. And last time we did that, it didn't work. Why we didn't do it again? I can just hear it, And so you got the linemen in there, and all the linemen I had, every goddamn from Sewickley to Ron Mattis to. All them guys, Dave. They were awesome. We would bicker at each other every once in a while, and then sometimes they'd say throw it away or something like that, and then I'd hear Chuck saying it. I'm like, where does it say in the playbook I should drop back and just throw it to the sideline? Where the hell is that play? I just never made any throw it away. Like really, I'm back here, throw it away. I don't even have my feet set. I've got 3 guys on my legs and arm. I'm supposed to throw it away. What the hell? Anyway,
Dave, I know this is probably an easy answer, but is Steve Largent the best player? And if he is, who else kind of ranks just offensive guys or even defensive guys? You mentioned Jake, Joe, and Jeff. I remember Jacob Green getting up before a game, going, "I'm going to get 3 sacks," and he goes out and gets 3 sacks, and he was amazing, but. Other than Largent, is there anybody kind of an underdog like you that?
Yeah, for sure. A guy that's not an underdog, but Kurt Warner, I would say. Joe Nash, I would say. John Harris didn't play for us for a long time, but they were culture guys that kept the locker rooms. But Kurt Warner, Chuck gets a lot of credit because he came in there in '83, and he traded some draft picks to get Kurt Warner, and that is the guy that really turned our franchise around. You have to have a top 5, 10 defense, which we had, I'd say, from '83 till, even after you were there, Dave, 88, 89, 88, maybe 89. But anyway, we had great defenses, but Kurt Warner was the guy that kept us. If the passing game wasn't working, Kurt could get 6 yards here, 8 yards there. I remember the game we won 51-48 against Kansas City Chiefs in the Kingdome. Kurt had 200 yards, and I bet he had 60 of them in the overtime. And he's the guy that really turned our franchise. It's a guy that when Reggie came there, he would look at the schedule down at Showalter's and Cheney. I remember this in 1983. Well, we're going to beat this team. We're going to beat that team. We're going to beat that team for scheduling us. This one might be close. We're going to, and then he pretty soon had us at 10-6 or something. And we went 9-7 that year. But Kurt Warner gave us the physical ability to believe in ourselves. Just because of the way he ran, he played, he was selfless. It wasn't all about – it was just about, how many yards can we get and helps the team. That's one guy that I'd like to pick out. Steve was great. He was a great receiver. But when you have a running back, you start to incorporate the whole team, the offensive line and everybody else, and the receivers have to block for him and all that. But Kurt Warner doesn't get enough credit for what he did for the city of Seattle. That's what I think.
Hey, Dave, you got to come out for this thing. I think it's the Tampa Bay game, and I think
October 5th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
you're acting like
hopefully...
I'm not coming. Of course I'm coming to it. What makes you think I'm not coming?
Okay, well, I just want to make sure that you're going to be there, and
I'm in the top 50 of the 50 players. That you think I'm just going to stay here and fish and go deer hunting? What the hell?
Yeah, I actually did think that.
I was thinking about it, though. I was thinking, yeah, be out there for a few minutes.
If you need a place to stay, I will get you a room at the Holiday Inn. Okay.
I'll take your word on that. I might do that.
Oh, he is Dave Krieg, one of the 50 greatest to ever wear a Seahawks uniform. He's been our guest here with Wyman and Bob. And Dave, it's always a pleasure, man. I really appreciate you coming on. And I went to Wyman. I said, why don't you see if you can't get Dave Krieg on? And he said, Bob, I'm going to see if I can get him on. So he made it happen.
Bob, that's perfect. That's perfect. But, hey, Dave, in all seriousness, Bob and Dave, the Seahawks fans, like when I come back to Wisconsin, my buddies know me. I play golf with some of my high school buddies, my college buddies. We're having a little reunion at Milton College this September 19th. Nice. There's a team the year before was undefeated, so we're going to have a big deal. We're going to go bowling and golf and all that. But they don't know that my name's in the Ring of Honor, my friends and all that. But when I go back to Seattle, the fans of Seattle, they really support, probably like other teams, but not. It's different with Seattle. The fans really that they take to their own. If you play for the Seahawks, they're such great fans. I can't say enough about them. So I want to add that in there as well.
Well, you're a legend out here, and people love you. People love hearing from you, and we appreciate you, Dave, as always. Thanks so much, man.
Bob and Dave, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
There you go, everybody. Dave Krieg in all of his glory. as always.
I feel a sense of disappointment from you, Bob. You thought there was going to be more buffoonery.
Yeah,
maybe.
well, no, he's even when he's so unintentionally funny. Because I don't think he's trying to be funny most of the time. I think it's just part of how he is and how he communicates. And hey, Dave, you're acting like I'm not going to be there. Hey, what are you talking about? Of course I'm going to be there. He feels like he likes to poke you, like if he can. And for the people that don't understand the comment at the end about, I told Dave, why don't you see if you can't get Dave Krieg on? And you said, I'll see if I can get him on. Tell people what that's about.
Well, Dave and I were partners in a late night pool match, I guess you would call it. It was John Spagnola. He was a tight end here for a while. And it was right after the 88. We lost to Cincinnati, and we went to Dave's house. You know, we got home pretty early. I think it was New Year's Eve. Anyway, Dave and I are playing. It's like 4 a.m. And it's Moyer and Spagnola against me and Krieg. And so, yeah, I'm lining up a shot, and I'm like, let me see if I can't make this. And Dave, in a very annoyed voice, goes, why don't you see if you can make it? So we like to throw that one in there. Yeah. He was always just a little bit irritated with everybody. Like in cribbage, you know, if you didn't go fast enough, and there's a thing where you go. And, you know, if you can't fit under 31, you have to say go to somebody else, and they put a card, and it goes around, and then somebody was like, and he's like, it was a go last time, it's a go this time. You know, you just
hyper competitive, huh?
Yeah, very competitive, always competing. But you know, in all,
why don't you see if he can make it?
Yeah, it was a great line by him. And also, I remember one time I went over to his house, and his boys, Mikey and Matt, were off to the side. It was one of those little plastic basketball goals, and he's in one corner of the house as I arrive at the house, and he's trying to make 5 in a row, and the kids are just sitting there like, can we play, Dad? He's like, no, I got to make 5 in a row, you know. And then Sue, his wife at the time, was rebounding for him because she knew that he. Yeah, like,
she's rebounding.
And so
here you go, honey. You were close.
The evening couldn't start until he made 5 in a row. So yeah, he was always like that. But you know, one of the things I was going to say, he had a beautiful deep ball. You know, and we always talk about Russell Wilson, which he does. Russ throw, best deep ball probably in the NFL. But Dave also would just hit people on stride, man. And the other thing about Dave I really admired, he wasn't like physically, I mean, I think Dave's 6 feet tall, maybe 6'1", and then, he's not like, he wasn't built like some of the big quarterbacks that you see now, and he's just a scrapper, man. And he doesn't like this, but I'll say it, I could make the case for him being a Hall of Famer. He threw for 38,147 yards in his career, 261 touchdowns, and 199 interceptions. But, it was different back then. There were a lot more interceptions.
Right. What was his career completion?
Yeah, it was, I think it was like 61. No, it's 58 and a half.
Yeah. So, well, we looked at Bradshaw and Elway and all those guys.
Different.
Yeah, I think his was like mid-50s. I think Namath was like 52%. I mean, it's crazy how different.
Now you can't even touch a receiver. I mean, and then all the stuff with the quarterbacks. So
now if you're 60%, you stink.
Yeah, no, I know. I remember when Holmgren came here in the turn of the century, and he's like, "We got to have 65% completion percentage," and that seemed outrageous, but that's what his standard was, and it's because of the rules, certainly. Yeah. But obviously you're getting really good players. But
it is crazy to see, if you go back, anybody out there listening, if you go back and just look at some of the completion percentages for the greats, the Hall of Famers, whether it's Bradshaw, Namath, Montana, Elway.
Yeah,
you look at those and you go, "Whoa, wow, yeah." Compared to today, but
yeah, 19 years for Dave, man.
Yep,
amazing,
yeah, good stuff. All right, that's going to do it for us. You got the Mariners and Twins coming up. Hopefully, we'll see what the weather allows. If there is a weather delay, Dave and I will rejoin you. If you missed any part of today's show, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, scroll down, click on our picture. It'll be right there waiting for you. Mariners Twins coming your way next with Wyman and Bob. Talk to you tomorrow.
It's all about finding a way to get her done.
Tagging at third, Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. Julio Rodriguez
after they allowed the other team to come back, they didn't panic, found a way to get it done late.
Today, the ensign George Kirby to the mound, eyeing a fourth straight win. Mariners, Twins. First pitch today at 4:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 3:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here with some exciting news from a family-owned business that's local here in Western Washington. Yeah, we love to root for these guys. It's Riverside Roofing, and they've once again earned the prestigious GAF Master Elite President's Club. Well, that puts them in the 99.9th percentile of all roofers in the nation. So you might remember I've been talking about only 3% of roofing companies nationally qualify for GAF Master Elite status. But how many of those achieve President's Club? Well, that's only 2%. Truly the cream of the crop. Proudly from Marysville and serving homeowners all over Western Washington, Riverside Roofing is the roofing company you can trust. So what does that mean for you, the homeowner? Well, it means you're hiring the best. A company that gets high marks in performance, reliability, and service, plus an elite warranty to match. Highly reviewed and highly recommended, certainly by me. Riverside Roofing is your go-to local roofing contractor. Book them now and get that roof done fast. I highly recommend them. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here, and the opening day for the hotel is August 8th. Book now for an unforgettable summer experience. Go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same, and that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle.